Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with our new chapter, insolation. Now let's discuss the meaning of the word insolation. The sun creates energy from hydrogen and helium, which are its predominant gases in the proportion of 3:1. Now, the radiant energy received by the earth is called the incoming solar radiation or insolation. Solar radiation is the only primary source of heat and light for the sun. Radiation from the sun is made up of three sections: the visible white light, which is seen when the sun shines, and the less visible ultraviolet and infrared lights. It is the visible white light which has the greatest effect on our climate. The insolation received by the earth is responsible for all forms of activity on the earth's surface. Now we will discuss about the heating of the atmosphere. As the insolation enters the atmosphere, a part of it is reflected by the clouds, snowfields, oceans, and other water bodies on the earth. A part of it is scattered by dust and other solid particles. As you can see in this image, about 35% of the total insolation that reaches the atmosphere is directly reflected back to the space by dust, clouds, and air molecules. About 14% is absorbed by carbon dioxide gases and water vapor present in the atmosphere, and the remaining 51% reaches the earth, which in turn warms the layers of the air above it by conduction, convection, and radiation. So, our atmosphere is not directly heated by the sun above, but by the terrestrial radiation given out by the earth. There are four heating processes directly responsible for the heating of atmosphere. They are radiation, conduction, convection, and advection. We will explain the four paths: radiation, conduction, convection, and advection with the help of this diagram. Now, heat is transfer of energy from objects of different temperatures. As objects warm up or cool down, their kinetic energy changes. Kinetic energy is the energy of motion. So here we will focus on the three ways that heat can be transferred: conduction, convection, and radiation. Now, conduction involves the heat of or direct contact between the objects and usually occurs among the solids. Here we can see that heating of the pan. This is conduction. Convection is caused by unequal heating of the density of different objects, causes movement of fluid away from the heat source. This we can see boiling of water. And radiation occurs without objects touching and occurs in space. For example, the energy of the sun warms object on the earth due to radiation. Here we can see the example of conduction. Conduction is a process by which heat is transferred directly through matter from point of high temperature. Heat passes from warmer to colder substances as long as temperature difference exists. Conduction transfers heat between adjacent molecules. Here we can see the next, convection. Convection is the transmission of heat from one part of a liquid or gas to another by movement of particles themselves. Convection is an upward movement. Convection is an upward movement of a mobile medium like air or water which has been heated by contact with Earth's surface. Air is therefore said to rise in a convection current. Now here is the example of radiation. Radiation is the process by which a body emits radiant energy. During the day, the amount of heat received from the sun by insolation exceeds the amount lost by radiation. And at the end, we will discuss about advection. Advection means the wind carries the temperature of one place to another. The temperature will rise if a place lies in the path of winds coming from warmer region. The temperature will fall if the place lies in the path of winds blowing from cold region. This process of horizontal transportation of heat by winds is known as advection. We can also say it as the land breeze and the sea breeze. So in this way, we have discussed about the word or the term, the meaning of insolation, the difference in the heating of atmosphere, and the four heating process responsible for heating the atmosphere, that is the radiation, conduction, convection and advection. That's all for this class. Thank you, students.